Hi everyone, I'm Wendy and this is Show Me Mo Vegan, where usually I'm showing you easy whole food vegan meals. But today I wanted to talk about one of my favorite appliances, the Instant Pot. This is a great tool helping me stay on track on a whole food vegan diet because it's easy to batch cook some of my favorite foods like potatoes, whole grains, and beans. A while ago, I made a video on how to use the Instant Pot, and it was really popular, so I thought it would be a good idea to talk about how to clean your Instant Pot as well, because there are several different pieces that might need to be cleaned differently. So we're going to cover everything from the base to the lid. If you are looking for information on how to use your Instant Pot, maybe you're thinking about buying one or you have one, you're just a little intimidated about trying it for the first time, go ahead and check out my first Instant Pot video. I'll put a link to that here for you. So I will walk you through the whole process step by step on how to go through a test run so you can see it in action. But for now, let's get into how to clean it. The first piece is your cooker base. Now, this is where all of the controls and the heating element are, so you don't want to get the base wet. If you get any smudges or food splatters on the outside of the cooker base, you can simply use a damp cloth to wipe it off. For the inside of the cooker base, you don't want to get it wet. If you really need to, you could take a really lightly damp cloth to wipe out the inside, but there's really no reason that the inside of your cooker base should ever really get dirty unless you accidentally pour something in there without the liner. If this happens or you get the cooker base wet on the inside, let it dry completely and contact Instant Pot customer support. Their customer service is pretty good and they'll walk you through some different tests and talk you through how to make sure your Instant Pot is still safe to use. I had an issue with one of my Instant Pots where it wasn't sealing and the seal actually popped the lid slightly off, and once I talked with customer support, they told me how to test it out and it turned out I actually did need a new Instant Pot, so they sent me a new one. Always contact them first if you have a question, because if you try to fix something on your own and you try to take the Instant Pot apart, you could void your warranty. And like I said, they were willing to replace mine because it was just a regular malfunction. So always check with them first. Then also on the cooker base, you're going to have your little condensation cup. So this just needs to be rinsed with warm soapy water, and you really don't even need to wash this every time. I almost never have anything accumulate in the condensation container. This is located behind where the steam release valve is, and sometimes if you have something really bubbly or starchy, it might spew out when releasing steam, and then that will collect here. So if you do ever get anything in there, just rinse it out. But otherwise, you can just check, make sure it's still clean, and you're good to go. The only other part on the base that might need to be cleaned is around the rim. Again, it shouldn't get too dirty if you're careful, but sometimes you might get some food particles. And again, I like to just take a damp towel and I use the corner of the towel and just run it under the rim. But if you really get something sticky or difficult to clean on there, you can also use a clean toothbrush to scrub it out. Next, we have the inner liner. And this is pretty self-explanatory. It's a stainless steel pot, so you can clean it like any other stainless steel pot. It can be hand washed with warm soapy water, or you could even throw it into the dishwasher. It's totally normal for there to be some discoloration on the inside of your pot, and I usually don't worry about this. It has to do with the food and the type of water that you're using, so it's just a lot of mineral deposits from your food and water. I don't worry about cleaning it, but if you really wanted your stainless steel to stay shiny, there are stainless steel cleaners that you could get, or Instant Pot also recommends just using some plain white vinegar. So like I said, I don't usually worry about it because I don't care if my pot is shiny or not, but I thought I would go ahead and try this trick with you guys. So all you're supposed to do, they say, is to pour the vinegar into the pot and then let it sit for 5 minutes. So I've let the vinegar soak for 5 minutes and then I simply rinsed it out, and it actually did do a pretty decent job of getting most of the stains out. So it got rid of basically all of the water stains and made it a lot shinier, but I had some tougher stains in there too, maybe from food getting burned on there at some point. So that might require a little more elbow grease. I've also heard you can use a combination of vinegar and lemon, and there are probably other hacks out there on the internet. You just want to be careful not to use anything abrasive, so you don't want to use abrasive scrubbers or abrasive products. But again, the discoloration shouldn't hurt anything, so I usually just ignore it. Then your Instant Pot might have also come with the Trivet or steamer basket, and this can also just be hand washed, or you can place it in the dishwasher. Finally, let's talk about the lid. The lid does have some more pieces to take note of. First of all, we have the silicone sealing ring, which nests around a little metal piece here. To take the sealing ring out, you simply pull it out from around that wire rim. Instant Pot recommends removing and inspecting your sealing ring after every use. You want to make sure there are no cracks or other damage noted. If you notice any damage, it's time to replace your sealing ring. Under normal usage, the ring should last 18 to 24 months, or about 2 years. And both Instant Pots that I purchased came with an extra sealing ring, so you should be good for at least 4 years. It's important to note that silicone can hang on to smells and colors. So you might see that mine looks pretty yellow. It used to be more clear. And this is totally normal and it's nothing to be concerned about. But if you don't like that, you can replace your ring more often. And in that case, Instant Pot recommends replacing it every 6 months or so. But it's perfectly safe to use if it just has a little bit of food smells or colors. If you really wanted to, you could also have one ring dedicated to more savory dishes and one dedicated to sweet dishes. But I've never really noticed that it affects the flavor of any food that I'm cooking. So again, that's not something that I personally worry about. The silicone ring can either be hand washed or you can put it in the dishwasher. And then we have the anti-block shield. This is on the other side of where the steam release is. So to remove this, you're going to press it towards the edge and it pops off. You'll want to make sure to get rid of any food debris and then just wash it with warm soapy water. And then for the lid itself, if there's any food particles stuck around that area, you could again use a toothbrush. Otherwise, you can just clean this with warm soapy water as well. On the top of the lid, again where the steam release comes out, this piece is just pressure fitted, so you can pull it off and rinse that as needed and clean the inside. Now your lid is ready to be hand washed with warm soapy water, or you can actually throw this into the dishwasher as well. To put the pieces of the lid back together, you'll simply press the steam valve back on, press the anti-block shield back on underneath the lid, and carefully place the sealing ring back around the wire rim. Let's do a quick recap. For the cooker base, you simply want to clean the outside with a damp cloth. If you get anything on the inside of the base, you want to just carefully wipe it out with a barely damp cloth. You don't want to get the inside where the heating element is wet. If you need to, you can clean the rim of the base with either a toothbrush or the edge of a clean kitchen towel. The stainless steel liner pot can be washed by hand or in the dishwasher. If needed, you can use a non-abrasive stainless steel cleaner or some vinegar to get out any stains. To clean the lid, you'll remove the silicone ring, which can be hand washed or placed in the dishwasher. You'll want to remove the anti-block shield to make sure there's no food particles blocking the steam release. And you can pull that steam valve right off to rinse off as needed. The lid itself can be hand washed or cleaned in your dishwasher. Once the pieces to the lid are all dry, you'll simply press the steam valve back on, press the anti-block shield back underneath the lid, and carefully place your sealing ring around the rim. One other thing to note about storing your Instant Pot is that it's a good idea to keep the lid upside down. This will prevent extra smells from being retained on the inside of your lid. So you simply place it on top of your Instant Pot that way. So there's a look at how to clean all the pieces of your Instant Pot. I hope you found this video helpful. Let me know in the comments what you thought, or if you have other questions, and I'll try to see how I can help. Again, Instant Pot has really great customer service, so definitely check with them if you're ever unsure about anything. Feel free to like and subscribe to support my channel, and let me know in the comments if there are other videos you'd like me to make about the Instant Pot. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.